So we're talking to Emily Szajda, who is a chef and sports nutritionist, and we're trying one of her baking and cooking workshops today. So Emily, tell us what are we going to be baking today?
Well, the premise was baking, but I didn't want to bombard our sweet tooth too heavily. So we're going to start out with a buckwheat and whole grain not quinoa, but a couscous salad with salmon. And then we're going to move into two different varieties of cookies, showing you different techniques. One is a drop cookie, being a gluten-free oatmeal cookie served with dark chocolate chunks. And then we're going to go towards the Italian traditional biscotti, almonds and coconut. And that's a twice-baked cookie. So you bake it once as a log, and then you slice it again and you bake it on both sides, making a very hard, dense cookie that's amazing with a shot of espresso.
Amazing. I can't wait to try it. So we'll go to the kitchen.
So today we're making a buckwheat and whole wheat couscous salmon salad. We just started with about a cup of the couscous that's prepared. We also have this buckwheat. We're going to go ahead and add some vegetables to add color and texture. We have cucumber and English cucumber, just cubes. To the tomatoes, so cherry tomatoes. We have some beautiful celery root. We're going to go ahead and add that. A little bit of avocado. We have about 8 ounces of just some salmon that I baked beforehand and chilled and flaked. We're gonna go ahead and add some chives and some green onion. Go ahead straight away with the dressing. Some organic olive oil. So we're adding some lemon, and I like to use the whole lemon. So we're gonna go ahead and zest with a microplane, one of the best gadgets to have in the kitchen for cheese, for fruit, for chocolate. So we're going to juice the whole lemon, creating the dressing, and then we'll add just a little bit more seasoning. Very simple. We just have a little white pepper for a little smokier flavor than black pepper, and Himalayan sea salt. And then we can give it a beautiful toss.
So we're sitting down and trying the buckwheat salad, which we've just been shown how to cook or make. And looking forward to trying it.
Yes, please enjoy.
Amazing.
It's really good.
Delicious.
So we're going to go ahead and chop up about 250 grams of chocolate, dark chocolate, so about 74%. Okay. So we have 1 stick, 8 tablespoons of butter. And we're going to go ahead and add half a cup of brown sugars. And we're going to go ahead and cream the two together. We're just going to add 1 egg to our bowl. And then we'll also add just a little bit of vanilla. So once we get the liquids combined into our creamed butter mixture, we're going to go ahead and add our gluten-free flours. So what we have here is just a millet flour, and then we also have an oat flour. We're going to add that all in. For seasoning, we have sea salt, so it gives it flavor, intensifying the added sweetness. And then we have a half a teaspoon of both baking powder and baking soda for leavening. We're going to just pour that in. So last but not least, we're going to add that chocolate. So the dark chocolate chunks. I'm going to incorporate it all. It's going to be ooey gooey yummy. So we're just going to drop just teaspoon size balls. They don't have to be exact. If you want to roll them and be an exact 1-inch round, you can. They give them just a little bit of space to spread.
So Emily, apart from cooking, you are a yoga instructor and a writer.
Correct.
How did you, end up learning about, you're practiced in nutrition, but learning about cooking?
Well, cooking came first, actually. Right out of high school, I had the option of studying interior design or going to culinary school. And I took the inspiration and motivation from my grandmother to propel me to take the culinary classes. But in addition, the big motivator for me was that the culinary program offered travel experiences. One was to Jamaica and the other one was to study in Italy for a term. So I opted for the program that offered me a little bit more adventure.
So do you factor nutrition into your recipes?
I do, all the time. When I bake, I always like to use whole wheat flours or multigrain flours. I often, when I bake cakes, I use natural sweeteners. It's a little bit trickier when you're working with cookies because the consistency, you can't work so much with a liquid or a natural sugar in that direction, but you can limit how much sugar you're putting into it. So if you're using a recipe, you can always minimize the amount of sugar you're adding to it. And then when it comes to hot foods, I always like to work with ancient grains and a variety of fruits and vegetables first, and then protein comes more as a secondary, because a lot of your grains, your ancient grains, are going to be very high complex protein sources, and so you can get your proteins that way. Oftentimes, especially women, have more sensitive digestion systems, so eating the animal protein doesn't always work for them. But everybody's body's different, so it just really depends on the individual.
Okay. And do you create your own recipes?
I do, yes. After going through culinary school and you put all your learning to practice, it becomes part of your life. And most chefs are creative minded, so they get away from the cookbooks right away if they even ever gravitated to them. So we have 1 stick of unsalted butter, so about 8 tablespoons. We're going to add some spelt. So spelt is high fiber with lower gluten. We're going to go ahead and add the sugar as well. So biscotti are a traditional Italian cookie that's twice baked, so they're quite hard, and you'll notice that the dough is quite dense. We're going to go ahead and add our eggs, almond extract, the zest of an orange. With the zest, and we'll add just a little bit of juice. Before we give that a quick stir, we're just going to add some baking powder, 2 teaspoons, sea salt, again the Himalayan sea salt, and then nutmeg. So we're going to go ahead and add just some toasted flake coconut, so for the texture rather than the shredded, and about a ½ cup of whole almonds. So let's get our hands dirty, mixing this all together. From here, we're going to add it. Make this into a log and place it on a piece of parchment paper and place it in the oven to bake about 18 to 20 minutes for our first go around.
We're going to try the coconut and almond cookies. Wow, straight out of the oven. Mmm, delicious. Emily, thank you very much for allowing us to be part of your workshop today. And thank you for joining us on People on the Grid.
Thank you.